Welcome back to Dallas Game Day, the home of pure adrenaline, passion, and the loudest roar in Cowboys Nation. Today, we're diving into one of the most powerful moments of the season so far, because ESPN's Get Up didn't just talk about the Cowboys. They elevated the conversation. They shook the table. They poured gasoline on a spark that is starting to look like a fire rising across Dallas. And Cowboys Nation, if you're listening closely, if you've got that star beating inside your chest, then you know exactly what this moment feels like. This is the moment when the narrative shifts. This is the moment when the energy flips. This is the moment when the Dallas Cowboys, your Dallas Cowboys, walk back into the national spotlight and take control of the storyline. Let's break it down the only way Game Day knows how. Loud, raw, emotional, and straight from the soul of Cowboys Nation. From the very first minute of Get Up, before they even got to Mahomes, before they got to Coates, before they got to any playoff talk, they hit a line that every Cowboys fan heard loud and clear. The Cowboys say they can't lose. That's right. That's the mentality. That's the vibration that's coming out of the locker room. That's the energy of a team that knows it's entering the stretch of the season where legacies are written, rivalries explode, and true contenders push the door open. And then it hit. That moment when Louis Riddick and the crew acknowledged it. The Eagles might be better on paper, but this is a divisional fight. This is Dallas versus Philly. This is football with blood in the air, tension in the stadium, and every snap carrying decades of pride. They reminded the world that the last time Dallas faced Philadelphia, the Cowboys were wounded, missing George Pickens, missing the new firepower on defense, and they still lost by only 4 points. Now, Cowboys Nation, imagine that game again. Imagine it with Pickens on the field. Imagine it with Quinnen Williams. Imagine it with Kenny Clark. Imagine it with a defense that looks nothing like it did 2 months ago. That's not the same team. That's not the same roster. That's not the same mindset. And they know it. And then in one of the most viral moments of the entire show, you get the gut punch of pure hype. Them boys are back in town. How about them Cowboys? And it wasn't just a catchphrase this time. It was conviction. It was recognition. It was the national media saying, hold up, Dallas is back in the conversation. But it didn't stop there. Stephen A. Smith tried to do what he always does. Talk trash, poke fun, stir the pot. He mocked the show for hyping the Cowboys like they were playing the Chiefs when they were playing the Raiders. He laughed, he joked, he tried to bury Dallas with that sarcastic Stephen A. swagger. But what happened? Mike Greenberg walked right back into the fire. He took the hits, he smiled, and he doubled down. He looked Stephen A. in the eyes and said what every Cowboys fan has felt this week. What if they win those next 3 games? What if they actually pull this off? What if the Cowboys beat the Eagles? That's when the energy shifted from jokes to possibility, and Cowboys Nation felt it. Because then came the line that shook ESPN. I think the Cowboys are going to win this game against Philadelphia. That's what Greenberg said. That's the line that hit the table like thunder. And when he said it, Louis Riddick leaned forward, because suddenly, someone else in that studio shared the same feeling Dallas fans have been carrying. That little voice inside that says, this team is turning the corner. This team is evolving. This team is changing. And that brings us to one of the most powerful segments of the show. Louis Riddick, former safety, one of the sharpest defensive minds in the media, gave the Cowboys defense the kind of respect national analysts almost never give them. He went beyond the surface. He went beyond the highlight clips. He went into the trenches, into the tape, into the soul of defensive football and said loudly and clearly, this is not the same defense. He pointed out what every Cowboys fan has been screaming for weeks. The addition of Quinnen Williams changed everything. The man had 1.5 sacks, 5 quarterback hits, and a mountain of pressures. Kenny Clark, violent, dominant, setting the tone. Overshown, flying downhill with speed and confidence. Logan Wilson, bringing that middle-of-the-field toughness that Dallas has been missing for years. For the first time all season, the Cowboys' defense isn't reacting. They're dictating. They're reestablishing the line of scrimmage. They're punching offenses in the mouth. And Riddick said what needed to be said. This Eagles offensive line isn't what it used to be. They're vulnerable. They're hittable. And this Dallas defense is ready for the test. Then came Schrager, one of the most respected storytellers in sports media, and he delivered maybe the most emotional Cowboys segment of the year. He painted the picture of the team walking off the bus in Vegas, and he said the city wasn't Raiders territory. It wasn't neutral. It wasn't split. It was Cowboys kind. Waves of blue and silver everywhere, energy pulsing through the stadium, fans taking over the hotel lobbies, the sidewalks, the casinos, the sidelines. He said something that will hang in Cowboys Nation forever. 10 minutes before kickoff, he felt like the Cowboys could beat the 1976 Steelers. That's not a small sentence. That's not a throwaway line. That's a declaration of belief. That's someone who saw the body language, the unity, the spark, the fire, and knew the Cowboys were playing with something deeper than X's and O's. And then he revealed the reason. Tragedy galvanized this team. Something happened inside that locker room. Something real, something emotional, something that made the players lock in and say, forget the outside noise, forget the critics, forget the records. This is about us now. This is about brotherhood, about pride, about fighting for one another. And you can hear it in the way he described shot callers in the building. You can hear it when he talked about Dak Prescott, when he mentioned Quinnen Williams smiling pregame, when he talked about how the Cowboys came out against Baltimore and refused to lose. That is identity. That is culture shifting. That is a team finding itself through adversity. And then came something fans rarely hear: national respect for Brian Schottenheimer. The panel credited him for holding the team together, for guiding them through chaos, for grounding them. They said it plainly: this is a different Cowboys team. And that matters. It matters because coaching defines resilience. Coaching defines energy. Coaching defines what a team does when everything goes sideways. And then the knockout blow. The moment Cowboys Nation will replay forever. The numbers came on the screen. Dak Prescott versus the NFC East. 21 wins, 2 losses. Last defeat in the division at home? 2017. Record versus the Eagles at home? 6 wins, 1 loss. Dominance, command, ownership. That's when Jeff Saturday leaned back and said, "So you saying there's a chance?" Not a chance, Jeff. A statement, a mission, a belief that this moment, Sunday against Philadelphia, is bigger than any other game on the calendar. Cowboys Nation, this is not the same team from September. This is not the confused, inconsistent version we saw early. This is a team that rediscovered pride, a team that found rhythm on offense, a team that rebuilt its identity on defense, a team that walked into Vegas as one unit, moving with one heartbeat. This is a team with juice, real juice, the kind of juice that makes the national media stop laughing and start listening. And now, the Eagles come to town, the biggest stage, the brightest lights, the moment where Dallas shows what this energy really means. And I'm telling you right now, Cowboys Nation, Dallas Game Day believes what ESPN finally admitted. The Cowboys can win this game. The Cowboys can shock the NFC. The Cowboys can flip this season upside down. And once they do, everything changes. This is the moment. This is the fire. This is the rise. Cowboys Nation, drop your thoughts below. Do you feel this shift? Do you believe this team is ready to take down the Eagles? Who impressed you the most? Quinnen Williams? Kenny Clark? Overshown? Dak? Shotty? The entire locker room? Let me know. And if you're riding with this energy, hit like and subscribe, because Dallas Game Day is just getting started. Cowboys Nation, rise up. It's game time. We ride.